In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a simple and very effective headline A/B test. That simply means that 50% of your traffic will see this dull headline and the other 50% will see this quality and benefit driven headline that evokes a sense of prestige. Now remember, headlines are one of the most important things that your prospects see. It's usually above the fold and it's a very good thing to try and hook your prospects' attention. So it is important if you get this right. And imagine if all of the headlines across your site were optimized, just imagine what that would do to your conversion rates. It's very simple to implement, it's very effective, and it's recommended by some of the top experts of the field, like Alex Hormozy, who says that it's crazy that most businesses don't do this simple thing that doesn't take much time and yields such great results. So if you don't do this, all it means is that you are leaking conversions throughout your site, and surprisingly a significant amount of it. Now we're going to be using the top-up test A/B testing platform to create this, and you'll also get a load of free test sessions that you can use, and this platform also gives free recurring sessions every month so that you can do this on a continuous basis. So before we start, I just want to recap and define what A/B testing actually is, just in case you don't know. So an A/B test will show different content to your users. So it will split your website traffic, in other words, website users, and it will show different content to them. For example, 50% would typically see one variant, which might be this, for example, this title, and the other 50% of website visitors would see the initial, for example. Now, obviously, you can test a lot more. You can test images, you can test a call to action button, you can test description, shipping, all these sort of things. And this is essentially just to identify via the tracking script what converts best. So how do you know which headlines, which images, which call to action buttons and designs and so on? How do you know which version converts highest if you do not test it? So this is essentially what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the winning variant and then implement this on our site and then continually benefit from it. So the first thing we want to do to get started is you want to go to topuptest.com/headline. And if you create an account for free, of course, you will get a load of free sessions. So that's the first thing you need to do. So once you've created your account, you can download a simple test ideas guide and a headline test template. But before we do that, the first thing we want to do is register our website on the platform. So what I want to do is just create a website and add the URL. And once that's done, the first thing we want to do is to create the page that we're actually going to test. So all I need to do is create a page, and we're going to be testing this sunglasses product page. So this will be the URL. And I'll just call it sunglasses product page. Now the next thing we need to do is to just install the tracking script. So this is pretty straightforward. All we need to do is copy the installation script and just paste it in the head of our website. Now I'm using WordPress, of course, it doesn't need to just be WordPress, but yeah, it's best to place it as high up as possible in the head, just so that it performs better, but it doesn't have to, so anywhere in the head is fine. And now that that's done, all I want to do is just verify that it's been installed correctly. So if we just go to the console, and after reloading the page, we can see the top-up test A/B testing tracking script has loaded successfully. So that has been installed correctly. Now the next thing we need to do is to create the test itself. So in order to do this, we just navigate to the tests and we create a test. And now I'm just going to fill in some random information here. And I'm going to select the main test page as the page that we created. So now we need to create a variant. Now this is just simply going to be the new content that we are going to test. So remember, we wanted to test a new detailed headline. Now when it comes to creating the variant, we can do this in one of two different ways. Now the first way of creating the variant is by supplying a page redirect. So for example, if you want to just compare two different page URLs, then you can, for example, create a copy of this page, but with a different URL, for example, v2. And what you would then do is just simply create the page on the platform and then list it here. And what that will mean is if this variant is selected to display, then the page will be redirected to the v2 URL that you have created. But what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're actually going to just create some very simple CSS because it's very easy to do and it's just a bit more convenient and it gives us some more control. So just to recap, if you're not comfortable writing code, you don't have to. You can just create a separate page and then send the variant traffic to that page, or you can follow the way we're going to do it and just create some simple CSS that targets the headline and replaces it with the content that we want. The first thing we need to do is use the headline test template code that was provided when you created an account. So if we simply just copy it all for now and chuck it in the CSS field, then we just need to do just a few short, simple things. So first of all, the content, this is just the text content we want. So we wanted this designer aviator sunglasses with polarized lenses. So all we're going to do is just paste that in there. And of course, you would replace it with whatever content that you want. Now, the second thing we need to know is the color. So this is pretty straightforward. All we need to do is right click and inspect. And by the way, I'd recommend using Google Chrome because the dev tools are brilliant. We select the selector icon, and if we just hover over the text, we can already see the color is #000000, which is a hex code. Of course, you can use hex codes. And you can see the font is 30 pixels and the font family is Lato. So if you click on it, we can also go to the computed and you can scroll down and see the correct values. So again, the color is RGB000, which is the equivalent of the black hex code. And yep, the font weight, font family, font styles, Lato. So yeah, we've got the content that we need. So I'm going to simply replace the color with the correct text code, and the font size was 30 pixels. And that should be pretty much everything we need. So we can simply test this if we just highlight and copy it, and then we go onto the page, we can actually just quickly inject it. So if I just insert a style tag and then paste in the stuff we copied and then click away, you should see that the content has changed. So that is literally how simple it is to create a headline test with CSS alone. It's just very straightforward, and CSS gives us more control over other things we might want to change. And by the way, if you want to check what it looks like on smaller screen sizes, we can just shrink the browser down. And if you see that the font size or whatever is incorrect, then it's quite simple to fix. All we need to do is go to the area of the code where it allows different screen size styles, and we need to identify the screen size on which the code is wrong. So you can see at the top, I'm adjusting the screen size, you can see the number at the top. So that would be, for example, 458 pixels. So we would want the maximum width to be 458 pixels, and then we can just adjust accordingly. So you can adjust the font size and color to match whatever you want from there. So it's very simple to do. And that, by the way, is optional, and chances are you just won't need to do it. And you can delete all of the comments, and that is pretty much all we need to do. Now, there is important use in our code, which is also fine because it's only for a test. And if we just go to the next stage, that is the variant created. Now here we can allocate traffic. So we want 50% of our traffic to see the control, in other words, the original page. And we want the remaining 50% of traffic, so website users that is, to see the actual headline. Now, of course, if you have more variants and any other requirements, you can split it according to however you want. But in this case, it's just going to be a simple split test. And as for the targeting options, I'm just going to leave all of the defaults so that we're going to target all devices, and I'm going to leave the default visitor sessions as well. And that is the test successfully created. So what we want to do is we just want to preview it. So if we just go to the variant and click on preview, then we can see that the headline has been changed with the new headline that we wanted. So that works successfully. And now we can just simply activate it to put it live. So that is now the test activated. So I'm just going to show you that it does work. So if I just copy the URL, and if I go in a cacherless window and inspect, and now if I just load the page, then we can see that the tracking is enabled. Now by chance it happens to pick the control, which is the initial. So I'm just going to do this again in a new incognito window, and I'm just going to rerun the page. And as you can see, it has now loaded the variant instead. So that is literally everything you need to do to create a simple headline A/B test. So just to recap, it's very simple to do and it's surprisingly effective, recommended by experts. And if you don't test, you simply will not know what converts and what doesn't. So it's definitely worth doing. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to get your free sessions and the headline templates by going to topuptest.com/headline.